live performance.
Okay, this is what happened. Now, he's got real skills. And I had no idea that Freebird really challenged, man, you can really do whatever. But everybody's got, Freebird! Somebody shows me $100. I'll get your Freebird right now. Good. So we were up there, and they were out, $20 here, $5. They're raising money. Jordan, nope, they ain't playing it. Show me $100. I'll get on. I'm so sick of doing whatever. So they come. All right, well, we're almost there. He goes, yeah, it looks like you're almost there. You ain't there yet, So you get $100. Boom. Man, I will rock you out. You give me $100. So we'll do that tonight. Something. I go, all right, you want, do whatever it is. Because I know what I like. I like the wall, that you do, that version of that.
The Pink Floyd stuff.
Yeah, we got to pay you some money. Now, of course, a lot of your original songs is Pendulum's my favorite. That's what really got me balling. But I met a young woman with a baby inside her. I looked, but there wasn't a safe place to hide her. And that's when my first granddaughter was in my daughter-in-law's womb. And it just broke. I tear up just thinking about it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, let's go ahead and just play just a minute or two of the Ballad of Lavoy Finicum. Now, he was the guy up in the Malheur wildlife thing. They're going to meet with the sheriff in the county to give them their evidence, and they got in the Bureau of Land Management BLM is just being butt heads or going after a heavy hand of, it's the socialists taking over everything and all land must belong to everybody and get everybody off and we're going to put you in the cities. There's some weird, progressive, whatever the hell is going on. And it's an attack on Western culture here out in the middle with freaking desert. I mean, it's so bad. And they're doing the presentation and the federal government did not want them to meet with them. So they did a roadblock. He has his hand, you got video of all this stuff, whatever. People not guilty, dumb, but doesn't matter. He's dead. And they shot him. They assassinated him on camera. And you said, so just what was he really all about? Well, Jordan kind of wrote a song about it. Like, here it go.
A man who loved to walk the land, turn his cheek but also take a stand. When his conviction called, he followed what he felt was right. Well, there's no telling just what time will bring. You can live for nothing or for everything. When the pushes come to shove and tell me, will you fight? I'm only talking about a cowboy stand for freedom. I'm just talking about a name carved in the stone. A friend and brother to anyone. He's riding off to the setting sun. We'll drive on cowboy, he's heading home. It's almost right, then there's nearly wrong. As you live your life from sunrise to dawn, then it's over and the moment's gone. You can testify to the things unseen, but the world is blind, can't see a thing. All you can do is try to be a human being. I'm only talking about a cowboy stand for freedom.
And that's not even half of the song. You want the rest of it, you got to come here tonight. This is, it's just beautiful. And it was, you just boom, the next day, boom, boom. And you went and you sat on your couch and you did it and you sent it and it exploded. And I remember at his funeral, which I wasn't able to go to, but a lot of the guys here did, you played that at his ceremony that they had up in, where was it, Nevada?
It was in Kanab, Utah. And I was actually scheduled to perform a concert for those guys at the Malheur Refuge the same day, but it was February 5th. I had been texting with Ammon Bundy while they were there and said, would you guys benefit from if me coming down there to do a concert for you? And he said, absolutely, please come down. And then so I had it scheduled for February the 5th. And then Lavoie was killed on the 26th of January. And so I ended up playing at his funeral instead on February the 5th.
Oh, my goodness.
And
see, this is what spontaneous order does, and people they have no idea. They have no idea, what's coming, what happened, and the people rose up and made you look stupid,
Yeah.
And they were looking stupid, but it doesn't matter. And I'm wondering, that was something that happened. We had Roger Stone on the show during, I've had him on a couple times in the Trump Report and all that stuff. And what he did, Roger Stone went to visit with the Bundys and these guys and so on. He recommended that Trump pardon or do it. So he did pardon some people, didn't he?
He did. He pardoned Dwight and Stephen Hammond, who were the ranching family.
That started the whole thing and the reason why people were up there.
That's correct. They had been just terrorized by BLM. They'd had their lives threatened. They'd had their cattle killed. The BLM tried to burn their house down, and they tried to defend themselves by lighting a backfire, like basically fighting fire with fire. And they were charged with domestic terrorism and given 5-year mandatory minimum sentence. And it was just a travesty to get their land because there's a very large uranium deposit underneath their land, and Hillary Clinton wanted to sell that to the Russians. I mean, it's like it sounds crazy, but it's like, look into it. That's what happened.
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. It's so bad. And with that's one thing that they them those were so freaked out about is the Trump. The fact that he would even be there. They don't know what the hell to do. I'm not sure that there's anything for him to do. We're going to get informed. We're going to find out what's going on. It's going to take songs like yours, and it's going to be interesting. And what I'm looking for is the opportunity to, bring the tone down. Everybody gets to have their say. But that doesn't necessarily mean I got to agree with you because you got a shiny badge. And they go, yeah, it is, backed up by this here gun. So I'm exposing that. I think that was awesome. How did that song come? I mean, it's all things Jordan, the hand of God, gets on his forehead and goes, boom, you're healed, make a song. And that's kind of what happens, isn't it?
A lot of times. I mean, that song for sure. Like I wrote that 4 hours after Lavoie's head got blown off. It was the same night, and I was sitting there angry because I had been following it the whole time, and I was so angry. And around 1 o'clock in the morning, the Holy Spirit just came to me and knocked all those feelings out. And I heard a voice say he was a man who loved to walk the land. He turned his cheek, but also took a stand. And The first verse, chorus, and the third verse and chorus are in the third person, saying he was a man. The second verse is I, and I think that was Lavoie's spirit coming to me to give me a song for his family, because they called me 3 days after I put it on YouTube and said they were all listening to it at the ranch, and they listened to the song about 25 times, and it was helping them to cope with the massive amount of grief and fear that they were feeling. That they had, this song was there to help them through that. And I think
because it saved them years of effort and work and speaking and going to people to try and tell a story that you did in 4 or 5 minutes. That's the power of music. And for me as a family member, I would have a song like that for one of my family members that was brutally taken from me, and to try and tell his story. And then all of a sudden, here, listen to this. Boom. I'm just, the sadness, what is the word? To bring a tear to your eye. I mean, what's the emotion? I mean, what do you think of this emotion I'm feeling now? What is it?
It's righteous anger, Ernie. It's like the Bible tells us to be angry, but sin not, right? And so, but we have to stand for something, and we all have to draw our line in the sand and say, at what point will we say no more? I'm doing the same thing for Schaefer Cox, the political prisoner in the worst prison in the U.S., who was framed for a crime didn't even get committed. I heard his story, and wrote a song, and we put it out, and now there's just a ton of people who know his name. I mean, like this, you asked me what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I don't have any illusions about becoming like some uber famous rock star guy. I'm just using the gift that God gave me to tell the truth. And my hope is that these songs will have some sort of actual,
well, if I were to pull up the Schaefer Cox YouTube, what am I putting? I got Jordan Page, Schaefer Cox, but it's not coming up. What I say?
The Persecution of Schaefer Cox. But there's a music video for that song. We actually filmed a proper music video up there in Washington.
No results found. I'm not. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, that's fascinating. Well, it should be there.
I got Jordan Page, The Persecution of Schaefer Cox. You'd think it would show something.
It should, yeah. Let's see. We'll see. People have been getting in Facebook jail for posting some of my songs recently. So that's kind of like my Arm Yourself song.
Of course they are. Freeschaefer.com, The Persecution, Jordan Page. All right, here we go. All right, we'll come in with that. That's what we'll do. We'll be back in about 40 seconds.
Okay.
Financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Freedom's the answer. What's the question? You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
On March 10th, 2011, Schaefer Cox was taken from his family and wrongfully imprisoned by the federal government in an attempt to unconstitutionally silence him.
You finally hear my pleas through these walls, from my knees, and these walls stretch out like an ocean, like a dream where I'm waiting for the world to wake from its sleep. Haven't I given all? Here I stand, ere I fall. Someday soon I'll be free. What a day that will be. Oh, the war's already won.
Yeah, and if they come for me, I'm not going to pull a Rambo. I'm going to pull a Gandhi. This is the Schaefer Cox story. Take 40 seconds real quick and go, man.
Well, Schaefer Cox is one of us, buddy. He was a Ron Paul libertarian from Alaska. He was running for office and was campaigning all around and was getting just tremendous crowds coming to see him. He was like a young Ron Paul himself, very charismatic, and he learned about Pizzagate in Alaska, the pedophile, child sex trafficking, drug trafficking ring that was being perpetrated by they, them, those, as you call them, in Alaska. And he started finding out who they, them, those actually were and naming their names publicly.
I'll do it.
So he was under surveillance for about 2 years by the FBI. They sent a number of career criminal informants into his life to infiltrate his life and gain his trust. And they tried to incite him to violence over and over and over again. He never would. He was a pacifist. He was a peaceful man. And he ultimately, they tried to kill him several times. That failed. They finally, when they don't have anything to charge you with, they charge you with conspiracy. So they charged him with conspiracy to murder a federal agent and solicitation to murder a federal agent. Well, and then they moved his trial from Alaska down to Washington. It was the state trial that he was first charged was thrown out for a lack of evidence. There was no evidence against him. They played the FBI tapes. There was nothing to there was no evidence against him. It was thrown out. So then the feds came in and charged him again illegally, tried him illegally outside their jurisdiction, moved him to Washington so that his witnesses couldn't be there to testify. Jury found him guilty. They wouldn't let any evidence be presented. Jury found him guilty. Judge gave him 27 years. So they move him to the communications management unit in Indiana, where it's basically Guantanamo Bay. They moved all the Guantanamo Bay radical Muslim ISIS terrorist guys up to this prison and put Schaefer in there so that he would be killed. But he's survived so far. Some of the prisoners that are non-Muslims have been killed. Like for being Christians, essentially. Schaefer has refused to submit to all that stuff, and he continues on with his faith and fighting for his freedom. And I've just been very, very moved by his story. Someone gave me a buddy of mine from Fiji gave me his book of song lyrics written from prison, and it had a profound impact. And that those lyrics were smuggled out of the prison and somehow by a guard or a prisoner, and were given to his team, who then published them. And that book ended up in my hands, and I read it, and I wrote a song. And so, Schaefer is 2 years ago, his solicitation charge was dropped. So, it stands to reason, without soliciting someone, how can you have a conspiracy? So he's literally in prison on a charge that doesn't even hold water logically. He's in basically the worst prison in the country. His life is constantly in jeopardy, and he's been in there for 8 years and hasn't been able to have any real human contact for 8 years. And it's an absolute travesty. And if you go to freeschaefer.com, you can read all about the story and what happened, and see the music video, the persecution.
Well, I tell you, when we were covering it, what happened, for the audience to skip to the end, this is what was going on. Here's a guy with righteous indignation. He has some skills to speak to people. A lot of people are encouraging, and what he said. His father, I think, is a pastor also, isn't he?
That's correct.
Yes. So his father's a pastor, and I think he was doing some preaching. And it's a young guy. The guy's not, he's is he even 30? I mean, I don't know.
He just turned 35.
So here's a young guy in his 20s. He went to jail. And the problem was, he said something and they freaked out, and it was this. Yeah, I got a lot of people that, we could muster up this and do that, and a lot of people do it. Oh, hell no. You are not allowed to have that kind of influence, certainly not with people that show up with guns, okay? So they are like, nope, it's exactly our AI said you get rid of this, And that's what happened. And they made when they target you, they're going to do, just ask Trump. And they target you, man. You can get the full force up. So this is, a good cause, I think, just to bring attention to it so people even know this stuff happens, because it's, where? In Alaska. How much do we know about Alaska? Whatever the FBI tells us. So to be able to do a song and it be all of a sudden, boom, you have the story in a nutshell, or at least take a look. That's awesome power. Aren't they coming after you, Mr. Hemp Grower?
I never worry about that, Ernie. Greater is he that is in me than is in the world trying to destroy me. And, I turned down a lot of things early on when I was getting offers from record labels because they wanted me to stop singing about freedom. And I was like, the hell with that. This is a path that God put me on. I'm a deeply spiritually committed man to Christ and to this path that I'm on. And it's not about, money and fame for me. It's about telling the truth. And to that I hold. So I don't worry about that kind of stuff, because God's got my back. No matter what happens, God's got my back. There's a lot of political prisoners. Like I just read a letter this morning from Todd Engel, who was at the Bundy standoff, and he's serving 14 years for literally nothing. And it's like these guys are all like the Apostle Paul, sitting in these prisons, writing these beautiful letters and becoming these powerful spiritual beings and enduring all this horrible, horrible stuff, but becoming stronger and stronger. There's a purpose to all of this. There's a cosmic purpose to all of it. Everything Schaefer's gone through, everything Jerry DeLemus has gone through. Again, another guy. There's guys that were at the Bundy standoff there's one guy that got 68 years. For what? 68 years for literally nothing. And this is the power of the state, but it's all going to come crashing down. You can't, this type of stuff that will not stand. And the people are wising up. They're starting to understand what's really going on. I don't know what Trump's going to do, if he's going to do anything, but we're definitely petitioning him for Schaefer's release, for Ross Ulbricht's release, for Todd Engel's release. And I think if we can get that message in front of him, I think he has a heart for the political prisoners. I really do.
Yeah, but you're not as pretty as Kim Kardashian, though.
Well, that's a matter of
opinion. At least your butt's not as big. All right, this is an interesting way of doing activism. You got success stories. I mean, this is it's a lot of pain that you go through in this stuff, and you feel a lot of other people's pain. That's why you're able to produce this kind of music, is the empathy that you have. And do you get some kind of solace? Is there reward back enough to keep doing it forever? I mean, I'm just wondering what success stories you have.
I mean, my success is in like testimonies from the people that the music touches. It's again, it's not like I'm making like tons of money or anything. It's the human impact. It's creating a body of work that when I'm dead, many years from now, that people will be able to use these songs for comfort and strength in times of great tribulation and oppression. And that's the idea. I think when I was like in my early 20s, I was like, yeah, I want to be famous and blah, blah, blah. But that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm interested in actually helping to fix the problem.
Well, I'm always bolstered by it. The first time that we met Jordan, I was emceeing with Gary Franchi at the Revolution March in
that's right.
in 08 in Washington, D.C. And you were one of the musicians there. And kind of, off in the distance, I knew he was there, and so I was busy. And then, it's another guitarist, whatever, And then I saw Pendulum. And it just, even thinking about that scene, just brings tears to my eyes because of the impact it had on me. And these songs have the same impact for different reasons on other stuff. So who's going to, be part of the revolution? Anybody that has a Jordan Page CD, which you can get tonight at the party. Pace.
Since time began, tyrants.
Very cool. I'll see you tonight. I got some stuff I got to work on now. But what time are you going to do?
Well, I was going to ask you, what time do you want us to come over? We were planning on maybe coming over like after lunch to meet with you about the other
whenever.
Stuff.
Whenever you get.
I don't want to roll up on you too early if you got other things to do.
Yeah, you guys help me.
Okay.
Yeah, we're about done set up. We just might, the stage, where you want, how, and putting the screen up. It's like one of those 10-minute things. But,
I didn't know you were going to go all out like that. I mean, I brought a little amp that I was going to play through, and I didn't realize you were going to go all out like that again.
Yeah, no, we'll do it up. I'm like, we were hoping that Lynn Ulbricht was going to be able to come up, but she's gone, flying in late tonight to go see Ross tomorrow or something in Tucson. So she's not going to be able to make it. And I'm just, you're going to be here. I'm like, we'll get Lynn up here, but she can't do it. But we'll, it's not like you don't have enough causes to yak about.
Well, that's true. But I love Lynn, and she's wonderful, and we have a nice relationship, and it would be nice to see her.
Yeah, I'd love to have a mom out there making sure, not everybody can write a song. Yeah, what's your Ross Ulbricht song? Huh?
I think there's one out there. Tatiana Moroz wrote a great song about Ross. It's called The Silk Road. And but I think there's certainly a song. I mean, I have a heart for these prisoners, man. It's such a devastating thing. And you gotta read the letter Todd Engel wrote like yesterday that was published today. It was really
Well, email
powerful.
it to me. Email me the link, and I'm on it.
I will. I'll send it to you. It's really powerful.
All right. I'll see you this afternoon. I got to get to this other stuff. It's good talking to you,
buddy.
brother.
You too, man. See you soon.
All right. Bye.
Spread it. Get started with Big.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, the guys on the stream, I'm going to stop the stream, but if you see announcement that we're coming back, that means that I got, Davi and Vin. Vin's willing to do it. Davi's upset. He doesn't want to, talk to that, freaking. I know, but I'm going to go in and try and, convince him. So anyway, we'll see. Maybe we'll get. If you see it coming back, that's what it is. It'll be on immigration with Vince Supremowitz and Davi Barker. If I can convince him to do it. Peace, guys.